first speaker here. So my name my name is Laszlo Zsolnai, not spelled correctly at all. But anyway, I am professor of business, professor and director of Business Ethics Center in Budapest, and also I'm associate member of the Blackfriars Hall in Oxford. So my expertise, and this will be my short contribution to this workshop, is uh, a business ethics perspective. I'm also involved in uh, Buddhist economics for many years, more than 20 years. But in this presentation, I will offer some analysis and some solutions, or at least some directions to the solution from a business ethics perspective. Certainly, business ethics is a Western kind of enterprise, so Buddhism is another thing. So I produced a few slides. I'm not sure that I'm allowed to share this or not in this system. Wait a minute. If not, I will just speak about these slides. Wait a minute. Mm. No, I tried to share. Can you see the slides or not?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So so I will speak about shortly about the business models of these info communication technologies companies, and try to get the essence of their business models. It's, yeah. So basically, two questions. What is the business interest behind these info communication technologies, and how can we fight against these business models? So, just a short remark, because these technologies, without a robust, I would say a brutal business model, would be just nothing. Facebook or Google or this kind of things would be nothing without the underlying very brutal business models. Otherwise, these technologies would be just something like a toys. So entertaining the engineers and some people, but the business models behind that makes these technologies and the related companies extremely powerful and I would say destructive. So the business models are crucial, and we should challenge these business models. So in business ethics, we have this term, corporate transgressions, and I think that's intuitively clear. What does it mean? How oil companies or tobacco companies or even big agribusiness companies make transgressions. But my argument here is that with info communication technology companies, we enter into a new form, I would say a higher level of corporate transgression. because basically they want to devoid human beings from the free will and consciousness. Maybe it's too harsh to say in this way, but I would stand for it. So free will is a Western concept, of course, but I think also relevant for non-Western worldviews. So, what is the real business of these companies? So we are the users are considered as servants, as not customers, servants of corporate interest. And we should maximize as users of these technologies backed by these companies. We should maximize not our own well-being, we should maximize their profit. And almost all the decisions serve this. So I try to capture the essence of the underlying business model. And it can be more sophisticated, but I want to show you, but you are experts in this group. I want to show you the real brutality of this business underlying business model. So I think these three components, a business model who are not a business school person or a business school scholar. A business model, simply speaking, is a way how a company or a group of people or a person make money. That's a business model, and we can elaborate on this, but this is the essence. So, in our case, what they are doing is they appropriate the attention of users. Is one thing for free. After that, they structure and package this attention, freely appropriated attention, at virtually no cost or minimum cost, and finally sell it with a huge profit. This is the essence of the underlying business model. So I think we should reflect on this, and so if I would be a cynical person, I would say that's fantastic, really. I just can congratulate. To get something for free, do almost nothing with it, and sell it with a huge profit. So the question is, what kind of counteracting strategies society may have? Just a short remark on these strategies. So maybe later on in the debate, we can discuss this four quadrant model of Ken Wilber. And because I found it very useful for this kind of a discussion. As you know, he identified four different fields of territories which are relevant in solving social problems. One is internal or external, one dimension, and other dimension is the individual collective. So these strategies, what I will mention just shortly, are certainly collective outer strategies. So this belongs to just one quadrant of the total four quadrants of Ken Wilber model. And of course, we need individual strategies, we need inner strategies, we need inner collective strategies, but I will focus on collective social strategies. And the second note is that I was working at Stanford with Professor Albert Bandura, was number one. He died some years ago. Was number one in social psychology and moral psychology, and we were working on analyzing business ethics cases, major corporate transgressions, and develop this kind of strategies together and with some other psychologists and ethicists. And I would like to just very shortly uh, use these suggestions, possible strategies, in the case of IT companies. So what we suggest is these are this might be effective together. So first of all, to monitor and publicize their corporate practices which have detrimental human effects. So we should publicize these effects and the business model behind that. The second possibility, try to increase transparency of the discourse. All these corporate policies and practices are born. It's mostly secret. We, we have some whistleblowers and other kind of a dissent from these companies, but the transparency of the deliberation of these policies and practices are basically uh, absolutely lacking. Accountability as a classic topic of business ethics, how to institute some clear lines of accountability and try to avoid this moral disengagement what these companies are doing. Moral disengagement is another huge area in social and moral psychology, and we did a lot of work on that with Bandura and others. Using a new kind of language, we can say sanitizing language that can mask this kind of a destructive, reprehensive practices. So we should not use their language or their languages. We should not use their discourse. We need to initiate other kind of discourse, the more critical. Uh, and finally, what psychologists and health professionals really suggest is that the affected parties need to be personalized. They should be, their cases should be documented as individual, personal cases, and the concerns should be publicized and addressed in this way. So basically, these are the possible strategies what business ethics can offer. And the final note, and I stop, which is more than business ethics, is closer to Buddhism and the Buddhist economics. Also, we, in addition to criticize, challenge, and fight, we should work on positive strategies. But I would call liberating technologies, new kind of technologies, new kind of info communication technologies, which are more consistent or fully consistent with our spiritual nature, that we are spiritual beings, not just material ones, and which aims to liberate. Liberation, that's a Buddhist. Which aims to liberate us for valuable functioning and being. So I will stop here. Thank you. this was because I was asked just to give a very short talk and some basic ideas for discussion. So thank you.
Thank you very much. So we're going to go into five. You don't. Yeah, so we're going to go into 5 minutes of clarification questions. If anyone has any clarification questions,
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Thank you for your talk. I really appreciate the business ethics perspective. Does your view leave open the possibility for say academic researchers who are critics of features of the attention economy to collaborate with these businesses to help make things better? Or is this more of a I don't know, rival kind of picture of the situation? Yeah, I think. I'm not sure if he. Maybe he left. No.
Well, he didn't understand the question online. Maybe there was a
problem with the sound or something.
Is it possible that we are muted? No, we're not. No. I see.
Can the online people hear us? Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Lily, would you mind asking?
Should I question the question, perhaps? Okay. Yeah, Laszlo. I have a question. Do you see the relationship between academic critics of the attention economy and this business model and businesses as purely antagonistic, or can there be some kind of collaboration?
Okay. Can you repeat? There is echoing here, but can you repeat?
Yeah, of course. Do you think that there's a possibility for cooperation between academic researchers who are critics of the attention economy and these corporations themselves?
Yes, I think it's possible because these companies are different, of course, and their business models are also somewhat different. We have the same or a similar problem with other corporations, even in the oil industry. So there are different, and also these are, as you know, these are huge empires. So they have different parts, and they have different interests within the company. So the possibility is to find those companies which are more open, at least to some kind of a discussion, not just window dressing and this kind of blah, blah, blah talk, to find those companies, and within those companies to find people who are more open-minded and ready to collaborate. So I think it's not hopeless. It's not hopeless, but it's not easy at all.
Thanks.
So just one example. So in the oil industry, which is also a very, very questionable, very difficult place to work with, especially if you are a business ethicist or some related professional. So oil companies are also very different. To work with BP, British Petrol, is not the same as to work with some American oil companies. So Yeah, Google is not the same as Facebook in this respect. So I will start Google instead of Facebook if you want to enter into a more serious dialogue. But there are smaller companies which are more open, and there is more chance to get some real dialogue and even to develop something together. This is my experience.
Thank you. Do we have any more questions? Question in the chat. I can't see. Would you mind?
Maybe go to the next speaker and. Yeah. Or I can read it. Hi, Laszlo, could you elaborate a bit on how ICT can be more consistent with our spiritual nature? Thank you. The question is also in the chat. They never heard it. Laszlo, can you hear us?
Wait a minute. Yes. The question is that who can be more consistent with our spiritual nature? No, this is a question for the Buddhist ethicist for tomorrow morning. But so I am not. So I was focusing on business ethics here, not Buddhist economics. But we have a quite developed conception of the right consumption in Buddhism. Which are the criteria of right consumption? And if you take this model seriously, we can derive some ideas or direction what kind of a technology can help us to move into the right consumption direction. For example, criteria, but Buddhist friends can correct me. So the right consumption consists of 2 or 3 basic criteria. One is that it should be beneficial for the well-being of the self and the well-being of others. So well-being is also a Western concept and also well developed in philosophy and sociology and health sciences. What's the well-being? How this kind of a technology can help us to develop our own well-being and the well-being of others, or at least negatively, not to destroy, not hurt, not to destroy the well-being of the self and the well-being of others. The other important criteria of right consumption, anyway, in any kind of a right action in Buddhism, is non-violence, ahimsa, non-violence. How can we understand and how can we translate non-violence into these technologies? Because in a way, these technologies are very violent. Not just direct way, in a direct way, but also in indirect way. And maybe the third criteria of a right consumption is that how can this act, consumption, how can use of this technology contribute to what we call liberation, to move into in Western term, a more free, mindful, whatever what term we use, state of mind of consciousness. How it is possible? So these are the questions from a Buddhist point of view. But I think that in the West we can accept this kind of criteria somehow, and try to reflect on that and to make more operation. There are, but you are better expert of this than me. There are some development efforts in the US, as I know some of these guys in New York who are developing other kind of platforms which are consistent with this, or at least not against this kind of things. But I am not a technology guy, so it's a lot of creativity and, more importantly, good intentions. Really genuine ethical intentions are needed to move into this direction.
Thank you very much, Laszlo. We're going to move on to our second speaker now for this session.